I've never put a post up of a picture of me, maybe because I'm funny looking, but I've never put a picture up of me and have 20,000 women and men like it. Boom, 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 boom. Right? I don't know what that's like. So I can't imagine what it must be like in the mind of a, say, 19-year-old girl, literal child, who just happens to have won the genetic lottery and do a lot of working out and end up with a great ass. How do you, how do you make the decision? Okay, I'm going to post something really intelligent and insightful and positive towards women and humanity overall and get 10 likes, or I show my ass and get 100,000. When positive reinforcement is like the first drug. The chemical um, the chemical release, the neurological releases of being accepted, of being promoted, of being deified almost, is the opiate. I would submit that every other addiction is attached to that desire. I thought prior to his birth that Kingston was going to be a girl. I thought we were going to have a girl. And in some ways, that freaked me all the way out. And I've had people tell me, yeah, G, it's just going to be the irony of the universe that you have a girl, because one day some dude, just like you were when you were 16, is going to knock on your door to take your daughter out. And he's going to do all the things exactly like you did. He's going to he's going to ring the doorbell, announce his arrival, come in, speak kindly, speak, you know, the way you should, you know, wait downstairs for the daughter to come out. He's going to do all the things that you have done in your life because you were trained to be respectful in people's homes. You didn't blow the horn or tell her, meet me around the corner, and all that kind of shit. There's going to be a guy who shows up and does everything right. And you're going to immediately see you in that guy. And you're going to be like, I know your game, bruh. You know, because when it's all said and done, you're going to have my daughter hemmed up somewhere. Because you also know how to use your brain to say the right things, whether you feel them or not. Now, I never was that dude where if I didn't feel it, I didn't say it. I've never told a woman I love her that I didn't, just to get laid. That's a powder keg. I've avoided virgins like the plague my whole life as well. But I can't imagine actually having a daughter now. Now. In other words, I can't imagine having a 13-year-old daughter 2020. Especially when, you know, the government, the external authoritative bullshit has programmed us to be in the house and don't go nowhere and don't do nothing. Can you imagine what a 13-year-old girl can do in her bedroom when she ain't got nothing else to do? Now, with boys, yeah. If Kingston was 13, 14 years old right now, I would be dealing with a dude who wants to jack off all the time. Maybe wants to do some drugs. Maybe has a violent streak. I don't know where he would have gotten that from because I've never been a violent man. But you don't get to pick the personality of your children. They're like cats. When you get a kid and you have no idea what that cat's going to end up being like. Okay, so, but just like the many dogs I've trained in my life and rehabilitated in my life, you can program a child to a degree. But because a dog's whole existence is to please you, it would appear that the opposite is true for children. So, and I don't know because I haven't. I'm on 3 years with mine. The only one I've got. Right. So I'm trying to tread gingerly on this subject because there are women who wait on opportunities like this to pounce. And I'm not interested. I don't care if you pounce. I'm just trying to say what I'm feeling without offending. And there's those that say, well, if you feel like you're going to offend, maybe you need to shut up. Okay, fine. But I'm not going to. You know that. So my question is for women who see this. Women from 18 to 80. How do you view the current landscape with respect to popularity and notoriety as well as infamy? First of all, if any woman is watching this right now and your greatest asset is your ass, I'm not saying don't. I'm saying do you, boo. But understand, if that's the card you're playing, that's a short played card. If you're 25 and you're using your physical assets as your way to get from point A to point B, understand that road runs out real fast. I remember speaking of Prince, I remember having a conversation with Prince one time, and I was telling him about a conversation I had with one of my band members who I lived with, Angelo Earl, and we were talking about Prince back when he first came out. And we were talking about, damn, bro got on a raincoat and some panties. Where do you go from there? Okay, I mean, when you get to a certain point, when you push the envelope to a certain point, where do you go from there? You can't go, it's only so far you can go. Once you're buck naked, bent over with your ass spread wide open, where you go from there? In order to maintain the level of notoriety as well as income that you achieve by just being fine as hell with some shorts on or with a thong. Where do you go from there? Especially when you've chosen to use that as your card that you're going to play, and you're trying your best not to take it to the next level. Right? It's like Cardi B. You already was a stripper. There's nowhere else for you to go except porn. There's not going to be another Kardashian who, she fucked Ray J and now she's a multi-millionaire. Everybody in her family's paid off of her pussy. Her mom's a pimp. So, but that's one of those rarities in life. Whatever you pick as your route, understand, and especially for young girls. Gabrielle Reese said in an interview with Joe Rogan, she said, when a girl is 13, 14 years old, it's like giving her a Ferrari. And she has a great body. It's like giving her a Ferrari. Because this is cool. And then let me step on this gas and see what she'll do. Right? Well, just like I know, a inexperienced driver is dangerous at any speed. That was a tagline that me and Terry Casey actually came up with talking about Maserati in our second album. We were saying Maserati is like the car Maserati. An inexperienced driver is dangerous at any speed. We just had to be really good at driving. That was dope. But it's the same thing. Okay, if you're a 13-year-old boy, you're pressing likes, right? You're pressing likes. You're blowing up the DM. Send me something by yourself for me. That'd be $5. No problem. Boom. Right? But the girl who's experiencing this, how do you say, nah, I'm not going to go there? And imagine 5 years from now, where do you go? Again, I don't have an answer. I'm just making a commentary. I don't have a judgment, as you can see. I don't have a judgment. I'm just glad that Kingston is a boy. And so far, he's too young for me to even entertain that conversation. Right? He's a boy. He's 3. He's all about dinosaurs. Okay? And certain things that boys experience, even at 3, you just don't bring to attention. You just keep on moving. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Just keep on moving. Right? Don't draw attention to anything that you don't want him to feel self-conscious about, or draw attention to him about anything that would make him feel like, oh, they reacted, so I'm going to do it again, or I'm going to touch it again, or whatever, you know what I mean? Or when it gets big, you don't draw attention to that. You just don't talk about it. You're just like, okay, let's finish taking our bath. Boom, boom, boom. Right? That's the common sense thing to do. But I can't imagine being a camera in a room with a very ill-prepared parent. You're raising these crazy people. And I'm not saying the kids are crazy. They're just doing, it's like, why does anybody become a celebrity? Because they're feeling the look at me syndrome. Sammy Davis Jr. said that in an interview. I always loved to say, look at me. And I did that to my dying day. Look at me. Look at me. Right? People who look like me, brown-skinned people in this country, that's almost the only thing we've ever been able to use in order to get where we needed to go, going back to the 20s. Look at me. I'm a really good musician. Look at me. I'm a great actor. Look at me. I'm this, I'm that. Right? So, and not saying the Europeans don't do the same, they do, but this country has afforded you more options. Now, I don't say that that's true, but there has been a time when you had very few options if your skin was brown, and varying shades of brown. And the darker brown, the less options. That's how crazy and insane that whole setup is about humans with different uniforms. So, human, right? Hue, color. Not mankind, but human. Right? That alone just keeps adding to the layers of nonsense. And you throw in a 13-year-old girl, a 13-year-old girl, a child, a baby. And we're not talking about a 13, 14-year-old girl who has a TikTok page and does some, risque shit. And the only people who access her are 13 and 14-year-old boys. We're talking about some sick motherfuckers, man. I can't imagine. The future is bright, though. You guys have heard me say this. The future is brighter than you could ever imagine. So a lot of that will fade and things will turn around. So if you got a 3-year-old girl, don't worry. She'll be fine by the time she's that age. The world will be different. There'll be no value in that level of needing to be seen. But man, This world has taught us a lot. I'm kind of glad I waited till I got, well, I waited, but I'm glad I was fortunate enough to have my first child when I did, because at least I had something to teach him. But he's doing all the teaching right now, as you probably know. I know some dinosaurs and animals right now I didn't know until I met him. But this is an interesting journey we are in on this planet as humans, and we should have eternal gratitude for the ability to be in the flesh, to experience what the oneness experiences through us, to experience humanity, to experience mankind, to experience life, good or bad. They're all experiences designed to teach us how to progress through this universe until we start creating our own. And that's a story for another day. I just wanted to touch on it. I don't really know if I'm touching on it the way I need to or saying what I want to say. I don't know, but you can comment any way you choose. And as you know, I don't edit comments unless you start getting funky on my page, and I got to put you somewhere else. But that's all I got. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.